All right, Mr. Lockhart has a note here on one of these tickets. Did you send a note to the court, Mr. Lockhart?
Yes, I did.
Wait, what does that say?
No.
Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today, we have one of those of the family finger painters who doesn't quite have a good understanding of the law, so Judge Perkins gives him a free 30-day pass to the law library at the jailhouse. Today is part one of two really good videos, so let's begin.
Did not accept your offer to contract and do not agree to these proceedings. All right, so what do you want to do?
I'm here under threat, duress, and coercion. I'd like to say for the record, my name is Jamil of the family Lockhart.
Let's get the record established. This is the city of Detroit versus Jamel Amir Lockhart. Appearance for the record, please, counselor.
Rita White, House Counsel, on behalf of Mr. Jamil Lockhart.
All right, Mr. Lockhart.
No one is representing me on my behalf. I don't know that.
Well, that was your first mistake. The House Counsel is there to aid you and can stand by in an advisory role should you decide to defend yourself. Because as this asshat's gonna learn, a law degree from the Google Institute of Technology is the legal equivalent of a deflated ass donut.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Lockhart.
Yeah, so I am Jamil of the family Lockhart, flesh and blood, living man, and attorney in fact for Jamil Lockhart and Legis Trust. I'm here by threat, duress, and coercion. I'm here making a special appearance. And I'm here to demand that the court prove jurisdiction over me as a live flesh and blood man.
Don't worry about that. The court's gonna prove jurisdiction over you before the end of this trial.
As I said, I submitted a challenge to jurisdiction. Jurisdiction must be proven and proven on the record. And then also I submitted Freedom of Information Act request for your foreign registration statement and anti-bribery statement, as well as that of prosecutor. There is no contract. Every presentment that was made to me was formally rejected and sent back to the court, which is what you have a copy of by my notary. I do have a live witness notary who can come in and testify to that fact. Given that there is no commercial contract, no commercial agreement, I fail to see how the court has jurisdiction. Furthermore, there's been no injured party and there's been failure to state a claim through a verified affidavit. So if someone can prove to me how this statutory commercial court has some kind of jurisdiction over me as a live flesh and blood human being, I think we could start there.
Well, let's start with your extremely liberal use of the word human being. And then let's head over to Michigan Court Rule 3.100A4, which acknowledges that misdemeanors are to be held under the jurisdiction of the District Courts of Michigan. Now, the MCR derives its powers from Article 6, Section 5 of the Michigan Constitution, which gives the Michigan Supreme Court the ability to create and enforce rules and regulations in all of the courts of Michigan. And of course, let's not forget the 10th Amendment, which grants the states the powers to govern themselves, as long as their rules and regulations do not violate federal law or violate the United States Constitution. So in short, yeah, this court absolutely has jurisdiction over you.
Well, let's start here. You have a notice is not what you think notice should be. Notice is what is if it's properly effectuated in the court rule. And I'll certainly give you whatever hearing that you want if you file the proper motions and material to contest that. I'll give you an opportunity to be heard on that. But furthermore, what I'm looking at is I have a proof of service.
There is no proof of service that was rejected and sent back to the court. You have a copy of that.
You're not even listening. You're not even gonna listen. I listen to what you said. Are you gonna listen to me?
I am listening to you. I'm just responding to you.
All right.
Please tell us how you can be both listening and talking at the same time. See, that's the problem with these self-entitled dick flutes. Their social ineptitude is so ingrained in their personality that if you think their inability to hold a normal conversation ends with this Zoom call, then I got some right to travel documents I'd like to sell you.
So why don't you listen before you start making statements?
Oh, you had paused. I
About
thought you
what
were
it is
finished.
and what it isn't.
Well, go ahead.
Are you giving me permission to go ahead now too, right? All right.
I assumed you were done speaking.
All right. Listen, I have a envelope with certified mail. I don't know what I believe the contents have been stapled to the envelope. It's got a proof of service effectuated by Nyla Perrin. I have a signed complaint here, signed by Officer Randy Randolph on 11/19/2019.
Is he here today?
And we can get him in here. Today is only date and time is set for arraignment. So you're just being arraigned, and what the arraignment purposes of your arraignment, and let's go through the whole thing, is you're here for a expired plate ticket. That is a civil infraction that carries a $145 fine. There's an allegation that you did not have a drove while license not valid or improper. That is a misdemeanor offense, punishable by 93 days at the maximum by 93 days in jail and or $500 in fine. On the same day and time, it was an allegation that you did not provide proper insurance. That is a misdemeanor as it's written here, and that is punishable by the maximum possible penalty of 93 days in jail and or $500 in fines. There's also a warrant for your arrest for an allegation of an improper, not valid driver's license. So today is the date and time set for arraignment. You have the option of pleading guilty, not guilty, or standing mute. If you stand mute, I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf. What would you like to do, sir?
I am here under threat, duress, and coercion to demand
You're
that
not
this
here under threat, duress, or
prove some kind of jurisdiction. And until jurisdiction has been proven, we can go no further.
Asked and answered.
I would also like to ask you, is this proceeding taking place under common law?
This proceeding is taking place in accordance to the court rules and the statutory laws of the state of Michigan.
So I am not a creature of statute. I am not under statutory law. I would demand that this proceeding take place under common law, as I am a live flesh and blood human being, under no authority but that of God.
All right, I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm going to give you another court date. I don't have any
All I need you to do is prove jurisdiction.
You don't tell me what you need me to do, sir. Don't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily tell the judge who's presiding over my freedom that he needs to do anything. I'd respectfully ask in the form of a properly filed motion, but your approach, talking over the judge and demanding that he do things for you, is a guaranteed way to get your ass thrown in jail for contempt of court.
Just let me finish.
With all due respect, the court must prove jurisdiction.
I understand that. We can get this over with quicker rather than later if you let me do my job. What I was trying to say, you're making your claim and stating your case that the court doesn't have jurisdiction over you. In order for me to properly review that and go, it's got to be done according to the court rules. I need a motion, and I will read it. I will read that motion.
I have submitted a motion to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction.
I don't have it. I don't have it in front of me. And then I'll give you a motion.
I have a timestamped copy of it if you'd like me to show you.
All right, you got to submit it to the court. Look at the.
It was filed by the clerk just 2 days ago.
Okay,
I have a
well,
timestamped copy of it.
It hasn't got to the file. I'm going to give you another pretrial date.
I would like to say I do not consent. The court has to prove jurisdiction. I filed that document a few days ago. Anything short of that is an admission that there is no jurisdiction and we have no further business. We have no contract.
Have a great day, sir.
Okay, so that's the end of his first appearance at his first hearing, and it should have ended there. But the cavetard decided to stay in the Zoom call until the end of the docket just so he could argue with the judge some more. Let's just say this is how to not defend yourself in court.
Jamil of the Family Law Card here.
Okay, you're still, did you have a question, sir?
None other than just stating that I do not consent to these proceedings and I do
You've
not
already
accept
put
any
that on, you've
contract.
already put that on the record.
Okay, good.
You came back in.
I would also like to ask why this Mrs. Rita White had claimed to represent me.
All right, let's go back on the record with Mr. Jamil Lockhart. How old are you, sir?
I am 27.
Trust me when I say this, you don't act a day over 9.
You're 27 years old, and you go ahead and you ask why Miss White is here to represent you. Well, first and foremost,
Why did she claim to represent me and I have no knowledge?
I'll explain to you. First and foremost, she's the House counsel for this evening. So for this afternoon, she represents anybody who wants her representation as far as helping them to navigate and to defend themselves.
I have never expressed that want to her.
This is what you're doing. This is what I want you to do. Any questions?
Why do you talk over people?
Well, I assume we were having a conversation. I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
I am trying to have a conversation, but one's got to talk and one's got to listen.
Okay, go ahead.
You asked why Miss White said she represented you. Miss White said she represented you because she didn't know beforehand the position that you were going to take. So she's just
That's
merely
quite an
doing
assumption.
her job.
That is quite an assumption. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, by the name that you put up on there, Jamil of the Family Lockhart,
That is
I
my.
wasn't surprised I wasn't surprised the avenue that you were going to take on that. Just
I'm
by
glad
the
you
name.
recognize
But I
where I'm
can't-
going.
but she's not going to assume. I don't believe she's going to assume that she's going to treat you any differently than anyone else. And then you said that you didn't want her representation, and she.
Wouldn't you
did not-
agree that for future reference, it might be better to ascertain that kind of information before she makes that kind of statement to everybody?
No.
You don't think so?
No! Do you not understand how the legal system works? You are guaranteed right to counsel by the 6th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Whether you decide to take that counsel or not is up to you. But something to take into consideration is the sheer number of people that come through the court system that have no idea that they're allowed to have free counsel provided by the government. If the default position was just to let these people defend themselves instead of giving them free counsel, then there'd be way more people making these same mistakes you're making and railroading themselves in court by going pro se.
No.
So the assumption is that everyone wants her to speak on their behalf.
Yes, until.
Is that not a
until
rash
they say-
assumption?
Until they say differently, like you did.
Okay. Well, again, this whole time, there's a motion before the court to dismiss for lack of subject matter jurisdiction.
Well, there's not a motion
There has
before the
been-
court.
What has been filed, I have a timestamp copy of it. I can show you that if you need to see it. But
Okay,
your
well,
clerk
let me explain
timestamp
to-
to file that document.
Let me explain to you. And this is just for your information. You say that you filed it with the court and the clerk down at the window, and I wouldn't disagree with that. But typically you want to, when you do your filings, that's why you want to have a judge's copy and you want to specifically have that copy hand delivered to the judge's chambers. So we don't rely on the court clerks downstairs at the windows to make sure that these files get put into the proper place. You're not going to make.
Who do you
that
rely
assumption.
on
Wait a
for
minute.
that?
You're making, and you're, because you don't want to make that assumption that that file is going to get into the correct file. you don't want to make that assumption. Would you agree?
Who do you rely on to make sure that filed documents get to the right place, get into
The person that's filing it, yourself.
So it is not, you're telling me it's not the duty of the clerk to ensure that documents are filed in the case where the judge can view those documents?
Again, no. You filed your crayon-laden motion 2 days ago, so it probably hasn't even had enough time to be prepared to be heard by the court. See, filing a motion is not the get out of jail free card that you dipshits think it is. You not only have to file a motion, but then it has to be heard by the court. And typically, the prosecutor's gonna wanna be there since they're probably gonna wanna have a say-so in any decision the court makes, just like you.
On my capacity, that document was sent to the court. It was sent to the court by a notary. So I do have a live witness to attest to that fact. It has also been timestamped. That was recorded as well. I have checked all my boxes when it comes to notifying the court. I've also given you a demand for your Freedom of Information Act request for your
I don't have
foreign
any of that.
registration statement and your anti-bribery statement. The idea or the fact that you do not have that is an issue, and it would mean that you are committing a crime against me and holding this statutory proceeding and trying to confuse me as a live flesh and blood man, that I am a corporation beholden to the corporation which you represent. And that is my main point here today, is to tell you that I am not under your jurisdiction. I am a live flesh and blood man. You've already stated that this is not a common law proceeding. I am under no law but common law. We have no commercial contract which would enter us into any kind of statutory law.
Okay.
So
Sir,
I failed to
let me stop.
see the
Let me
issue.
stop you.
And there's
Let me-
also
let me
no
stop you,
verified complaint with a
Let me stop you,
signed
sir.
affidavit.
Sir, let me stop you. And I'll let you put that on the record. I'll let you put it on the record already. We've already done those things. So, I'm gonna end it.
What you're
I'm gonna
committing
end
here
it.
is a fraud against the people.
What you have committed is oxygen theft against the trees and the oceans that work so hard to produce it.
Okay,
That's
I'm
what
gonna
you're
end-
participating in.
okay. Whatever your position
And without
is.
without your foreign registration statement, that's an admission that you are here as a criminal actor.
Okay, sir, I'm gonna end the hearing now.
And I do not consent to
And I'm
any
gonna
further
remove
hearings on this issue or this matter. We have no valid contract. We failed to prove jurisdiction. There is no valid claim.
All right, you've
I do
already
not
said
consent.
that, sir. I've already let you make a record, and I don't want you to mention any more because I'm gonna hold you in contempt of court, okay? So I let you make your record. That
You
I set a
can
date.
do
of
whatever
March
you feel
20th.
like you need to do. I'm
I
here to
set a
tell
date
you
of
that
March
I am not under
25th,
your
sir.
jurisdiction.
All right, have a great day.
All right, guys, that's the end of part 1. Part 2 will be out in a couple of days. It's a little bit longer, but damn, does it not have a great ending.
And it seems that you really need an education on how this stuff works, and I'm gonna give you one today.
So if you liked the video, leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a dislike. But don't forget to leave a comment below and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss any of my content. I'm Team Skeptic, and I'm out.